So, if anybody just popped in and noticed what's going on here, wow, that's interesting. Hmm. Okay, so yeah, if anyone just popped in here and sees what I'm doing right now, geez, I am messing with everything here, and what I'm trying to do is to figure out if the YouTube live stream is going. So I will probably, I don't know if I'm gonna like stop this or what I'm gonna do, but we'll see. I am messing with everything here, and what I'm trying to do. All right, I need to mute. I need to do some muting. That was muted. This is muted. I hope. Let's see. Normal Studio. That's fine. La 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 la. X. Where I have 3 messages waiting for me. I see that Grouchian's hosting something. So, by the way, if anyone is here and you hear the construction going on in the background, please let me know, and I'll just have to stop and come back when they quiet down. All right, now let's see. La 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 la. Okay, I'm just doing a couple things here. Quick mobile app set, YouTube app, blah blah blah. Okay. YouTube content live tab. Click on active stream. YouTube. YouTube content live. Click on live stream. Aha. Okay, great. So let's see. I'm going to click on that just to see if it's actually like going. Video link. I have a video link for the live stream. And yeah, okay, great. Then it's working. Wonderful. And I can copy that and do this and do that. Oh, I think what I want to do is... Okay. Ah, there we are. It was hiding. Okay. Stream a name. Grouchian is on. And stream description. Shaking my fist at the clouds. Second category is going to be... nope. Fine. Okay, and save those changes, and all right, let's see. It's not my first stream. I need to change that. La 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 la. Open mod dashboard. Just for kicks and giggles. I'm just doing a little bit of housekeeping here. And I don't like the overhead light, so we're going to see how I look without it. Apparently that's not happening right now because I'm live, so it's not going to let me do anything because I'm live. I think Kick is I really need to change that from my first stream to something else, and I will do that, but not right this second. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I can go ahead and move this over there. Just hide that over there. And let's see. There's what I want. All right, I'm going to switch over. I really was not going to stream this afternoon. I was going to get like this afternoon, whatever time it is here. I was going to get like completely lazy and not do anything except maybe watch the latest episode of Euphoria for only one reason, and I think you know what it is. I'm, I mean, I watched the first couple of episodes, and Rue, that would be Spider Man's wife, the Dune chick, Zendaya. Um, Her arc is it's about 85-90% traffic and about 10% or so Tarantino. Not most recent Tarantino. 10% or so um, uh, Pulp Fiction ish Tarantino. And so I'm feeling like that's territory, her character arc in the season 3 of Euphoria. And I have not seen, like, I watched the first episode of season 1 and I thought it was too damn busy. And I really felt like the whole thing was just very negative. The whole thing was just a downer. I have not seen the rest of season 1, with the exception of a handful of clips. The same thing with season 2. I have been watching season 3 thus far. I had avoided it because I wasn't interested in watching Hunter Schafer, but I am taking a different perspective on this now. And not a different perspective, as in I am accepting that I mean I don't go in at all for the gender nonsense. So I'm just adjusting how I watch as I'm just making sure it's following me. How I'm watching as a viewer of this program. Um, as far as I'm concerned, his character is a mentally ill man. And I think that's very clear, actually, from the beginning of the first episode. Well, not the beginning, but, within the first few minutes of the first episode of the first season, because we see him jamming a needle into a massive purple sore on his right leg. And it's pretty clear that what he's doing is jamming himself with estrogen. Whatever strange reason, I just had like this white thing happen behind my screen for like 1 second and then black back out. Oh, that's why. Okay. I don't know who this is, but I'm going to go ahead and just close it because I don't want to deal with it. And I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. That's all gone. Okay. So back to Hunter Schafer. I'm just basically what I'm looking at here. I'm watching this particular character as a man with a mental illness being played by a man with a mental illness. It's actually quite simple, and the one thing that makes I will give the showrunner and the head writer credit for this much, and I don't know if this was his intention or not, because I have no idea how woke he actually is. I haven't looked into him. I know his dad is Barry Levinson, the director. I think his name is Sam, and so he's a nepo baby, grew up in Hollywood, and based on the first episode, episode 1 of season 1, I was like, yeah, this guy is jaded, and he has his obsessions, and they're on full display. The Rue character seems to like the Rue character, Zendaya, seems to like Hunter Schafer. I gather from the rest of season 1, season 2 that they had a relationship that included some intimacy, but Rue fashions herself a lesbian. So at the very, if I'm going to be like the most generous about this, she's bi. because she's sleeping with a man as well as sleeping with women. Season 3, she sleeps with a couple of 304s who work in strip clubs. And again, I mean, I consider the whole strip club thing to be, it's tired, it's been done to death and then some. And so I think it's become a trope. And that's my issue with Rue's character is her slide into whatever it is she's doing, as a result of having been inducted into drug addiction with prescription medications as a child for being a kid that needed attention. I mean, essentially that was the thing. And so, I mean, I'm not without sympathy for the character, because I do see how her parents screwed her up. And I think that, Sam deserves some credit for showing that. And he shows it, but he doesn't judge one way or the other. He just says, the episode, the first episode at least, just says, this is what it is. And and maybe when he wrote that in 2019, the level of judgment by the general public wasn't quite the same. But I mean, I think since 2019, it's become, between 2019 and 2026, it's become clear that SSRIs are a real problem, and giving young children pills is a real problem. Giving young children medications for their mood, for medication to change his or her mood, that somehow being an active child is wrong, is somehow an indication that your kid's defective in some way and they need drugs. Probably more likely what the kid needs is parents who actually give them some attention. I want this thing to center a little bit lower. I'm going to see what I can do with this. See if I can center it any lower. I don't view. Okay. There we go. Not too much. Huh. I feel taller already. Okay. So Rue is not the reason I'm watching I'm watching Euphoria. I am more interested in Sydney Sweeney's arc, and I had something bookmarked, and I'm not sure where it is. But she's been taking a lot of, and I'm going to get to the other thing in a minute, because there's something else I want to talk about. But I'm going to get to that in a minute, because I'm all over Sydney Sweeney at the moment, and so I'm going to just go ahead and talk about Sydney. All right, and I don't know how to get that off the damn screen, so I'm just going to refresh. Okay, now maybe I'll be able to get that off the screen. I don't know. Nope, still can't get it off the screen. Suck it. Okay, I think I know what I need to do there. Okay, now I can get that off the screen. And get that off the screen. And by the way, I'm just doing this live. I'm just running with it, which means that when I switch to the browser, I have no idea what it's going to look like, because I've been moving these things around. So we're gonna just play it by ear. Okay, not too bad. That was actually, wow, that's actually right where it belongs. Not bad. Okay, so Sydney Sweeney's been taking a lot of guff from the usual suspects, the modern audiences. Not these guys, just more the. The modern audience, the Karens with an attitude, and this is from a couple days ago, 3 days ago, on our dear friends, the Daily Mail, and some of their reporting is good, some of it's crap. Take it as it is. Sydney Sweeney scores huge career victory despite backlash over X-rated Euphoria scenes. All right, look. First off, they're not X-rated. Wait, was I done with Hunter Schafer and Rue yet? Yeah, I think I ended with she's bi. And I ended with her arc is lame because we've seen all this before. We've seen this before, and we've seen it done just as well. And nothing against Zendaya. Nothing against Spider-Man's wife, okay? Because as far as I'm concerned, she's doing a reasonable job in season 3 of Euphoria. It's just that the material she's being given is just old territory. All right, so Sydney's being dragged through the mud by viewers and critics. Blah blah blah. Look, um, yeah, she's making some odd $100,000 an episode now. Her star, in spite of Zendaya being in a couple of the biggest film franchises around right now, Dune and oh yeah, she's in Spider-Man with her hubby, huh? Yeah, so she's doing just fine. It, Sydney has become the even though Jacob some guy Elordi, one of the dudes, I don't care about the guys in the show, one of the dudes is in the movie Frankenstein, the new one, which I haven't seen and should. um, Sydney's laughing all the way to the bank. She's her rate from the first season was like pretty much minimum, and she's gone from that to hundreds of thousands of dollars an episode. She makes significantly more off her various endorsements than she makes from acting right now. Uh, just as an example, her face is on ads for various skincare products, makeup, I think, and hair care products all over the world. So you can walk into a hair salon in Southeast Asia and see a picture of her advertising whichever brand of hair stuff she's advertising. I have no idea. Or acting as the model for this, and so she's collecting. She is collecting a ton of money. She is. How do the kids say that these days? Oh, she's got her bag. She's getting her bag and she's stuffing it. Yeah, I think she's got one of those Wizarding World bags because it's a little small thing she can carry around, but inside it holds as much as she needs. It holds everything she's got. Um, and as far as her performance, and I haven't seen the third episode yet. Like I said, I was going to settle down and watch it, but I came online. I had to stream for other reasons, and I'll get to that in a minute. So the thing about Sydney, she in the first 2 episodes of the third season, she's just rocking the house. She is not allowing that character in any way, shape, or form to be anything but empowered. And I know that's a nice liberal word, but basically, um, she's playing this comfortable in her skin. She's playing this like no big deal. She's playing this like it's extremely natural to just go ahead and wear something that's see-through and show your nipples. Big deal. And the fact that her character, and I guess she is an actress, is portraying what's the name of her character? Cassie? Can't expect you to remember these things. I just started watching Euphoria a couple of weeks ago. The fact that her character is so comfortable with taking the OnlyFans route and doesn't see it as a big deal. As far as the actress goes, that redounds positively on her. And that's why it's a huge career victory, because she is not pretending even to be ashamed of what she's doing. She's just right out there with it, and she's like, "Yeah, this is Hollywood. This is my career. I'm just going to go for it." And I, not portraying my age again, but I would like to think, and I can't say because after all, she passed on in the early 1960s, but I would like to think that Marilyn Monroe probably wouldn't be handling. I mean, if Marilyn Monroe was around in the year 2026, she probably wouldn't be handling her career all that differently from Sydney Sweeney. She would be, obviously, the avid reader she is, but she would be pursuing her career. She would have no problem with the nudity. I don't think, and she'd be making bank, and she'd have all the endorsements. So I don't see, and she would be, I think, Marilyn also, if she had the opportunity in 2026, if she was here in 2026, not the 1950s, she pushed the envelope for women's roles in the 1950s. I think in 2026, she would make choices comparable to the kinds of choices Sydney Sweeney's been making, like Christie in particular, the boxing movie, which, by the way, was a flop at the box office. No surprise, because it's one of those films for movie theater audiences. It's neither fish nor fowl, and so when it hit streaming, it did really well. So it's a hit on streaming. People are watching it on streaming, and they just didn't want to see it in the movie theater. And so, fine, her career's going great. Okay, there's my girl right there. All right, that's enough of that. And I think I've pretty much said as much as I want to say about Sydney. So I'm going to move on to the other thing I was looking at, and let's see if I can find it. Aha. This is what brought me online today. This is the reason that I did not settle in to watch an episode of Euphoria and ignore continuing to get my 1,000 hours in. Okay, this is the reason I'm here today. Trump survived another assassination attempt, the third one. 1 out of 3 actually got a bullet flying in his direction, and it clipped his ear. As for anyone on the left who's going, false flag, it's staged, GFY, just GFY. And where we're at with this now is already a day later, President Trump is walking right into the hornet's nest, right into enemy territory, and that's what this is about. This is some News 304 on 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes has a terrible reputation over the last few years. They completely did a hit job on Elon and Maya Musk a few years ago. The last time that they interviewed President Trump, it was a hit job. The last time they interviewed Kamala Harris, they purposely jumbled around, did creative editing to make the then presidential candidate, who crashed and burned so hard in November it was painful. It was great that Trump won, but it was painful watching her lose. Oh my God. They did creative editing to try to make Kamala Harris's interview look better, because it was so bad. It was really, really bad. So this is President Trump delivering the smackdown to our dear friends at 60 Minutes, and you love to see
Manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appeared.
Okay, yes, there's a manifesto, and somewhere on one of my tabs I have that manifesto. I'm not sure where I have it, but it's probably in the same tab down here. Let's see. It's up a little bit. Benny Johnson just went ahead and printed the whole thing, and so I'm just gonna sidetrack a bit. I will get back to our 60 Minutes what in just a minute. This is the full manifesto from the dude who failed to get into the room to shoot the president or anyone else of any importance other than a single Secret Service agent who took one in the chest and, thank God, was wearing a bulletproof vest. So that guy failed. Mr. Cole Thomas Allen, failed. You're a loser. Now, the thing is that you could have been a winner. I saw the clip of you, and it's probably it's easy enough to find. You tried to invent an emergency stop thing for wheelchairs. Very good. You have a master's degree from Cal State Dominguez Hills. Very good. You were working part-time at a tutoring center, helping students to do a better job on their SATs, ACTs, and so on and so forth. Very good. Um, Packing a shotgun and a handgun and a bunch of knives and booking yourself a room at the Hilton and going after the President of the United States, not so good. Anyway, we're going to read his manifesto, and if I want, we're going to laugh at it. Hello, everybody. So I may have given a lot of people a surprise today. Let me start off by apologizing to everyone whose trust I abused. I apologize to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for Most Wanted. Now look, if he was really, really sorry for putting his parents through this, he wouldn't have done it in the first place. Hypocrite. I apologize to my colleagues and my students for saying I had a personal emergency. By the time you read this, I probably most certainly do need to go to the ER. Ha ha, you didn't get hurt, you're just in jail. But can hardly call that a self-inflicted status. I apologize to all the people I traveled next to, who probably didn't even know who the heck you are and didn't care. All the workers who handled my luggage. Really? And all the other non-targeted people at the hotel who I put in danger simply by being near. You know what? You had the option of putting nobody into danger. Nobody. You had the option of allowing everyone to continue to be safe and to enjoy the event, but you had to make it all about you. I apologize to everyone who was abused and or murdered before this. The ones who were murdered aren't going to be able to hear you. To all those who suffered before I was able to attempt this. To all who may still suffer after, regardless of my success or failure. Guess what? You failed, asshole. I don't expect forgiveness. Good, because we're not forgiving you. But if I could have seen any other way to get this close, I would have taken it. Again, my sincere apologies. Again, you have agency. You made a choice. You chose to do this, Mr. Allen. On to why I did this. Okay, now we're getting to more. I don't know. We'll see. I am a citizen of the United States of America. Yay! So another citizen decided to try to kill the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States. Not cool. What my representatives do reflects on me. To some small extent, sure, but also understand that in a democracy, sometimes you get what you vote for and sometimes you don't. I have been voting for more decades than I care to count. And the number of times that I have voted for the winning candidate in an election and got what I voted for, as in the candidate won and then he actually kept some of his promises, I can count that on one hand. In fact, one. In my life, I have only voted for a single candidate once who is actually delivering on what I voted for him for. I am nonpartisan. I'm not a member of a political party. Most of the past elections before 2024, I voted third party because reasons. And in some cases, in retrospect, I do have to say that on a couple of presidential elections, I regret a couple of those votes. Got to be honest. I would never vote for Jill Stein again. But, my two senators in California are Padilla and Pencilneck. And neither of them reflects my views on much of anything. They're still my senators. What am I going to do? So, what my representatives do reflects on me. No, that's high. I'm a bit on the egotistical side. Maybe I'm bordering on some level of narcissism. Maybe. And I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Oh, get the fuck over yourself, seriously. First off, not a pedophile. Never been proven. Exoneration, I think, has pretty much occurred. And do you really honestly think that the opposition party, the people who have been beating the drums for more than 8 years, calling Trump all kinds of names, that if they had anything really solid on him, do you think he would be president today? They tried between January of 21 and January of 2025. They tried to put him away. They threw criminal charges at him. They threw civil cases at him. They stacked the system in the state of New York on a couple of cases. They stacked the system in a couple of cases in a couple of states, and they got judgments against him. They got convictions for 34 felonies for stuff that Hillary Clinton did worse than Trump. They trotted out some old bat who actually named her cat Vagina, and that's supposed to be a credible witness as to what happened in a changing room at a store some decades ago. Really? They totally stacked those cases. Those were kangaroo courts, the both of them. Or what is another term for that? Star chambers. They're somewhat like star chambers. So they threw everything at Trump at the kitchen sink. Actually, I think they did throw a kitchen sink at him, and it didn't work. He was still able to run for president again. He was still able to get elected. It didn't work. So give me a break on the whole pedophile, rapist, and traitor thing. Not true, and not true. But the fact that this guy believed this, interesting. And then he puts in parentheses here, well, to be completely honest, I was no longer willing a long time ago, but this is the first real opportunity I've had to do something about it. While I'm discussing this, I'll also go over my expected rules of engagement. Probably in a terrible format, but I'm not military, so too bad. Yeah, you weren't military and it showed. Just saying. Administration officials, not including Mr. Patel, why would he not include Mr. Patel? Why would he not include the head of the FBI? See, this is where things just get weirder. They are targets, prioritized from highest ranking to lowest. So, since they're prioritized from highest ranking to lowest, I am going to go out on a limb here and say that when he wrote pedophile, rapist, or traitor, that he was talking about the President of the United States. Again, fuck that guy. Not fuck the President of the United States. Fuck the guy who wanted to shoot him. Secret Service. They are targets only if necessary and to be incapacitated non-lethally if possible. AKA, I hope they're wearing body armor because center mass with shotguns messes people up who aren't. Okay, so he understands a little bit about shotguns. That's good. And he actually did manage to shoot one Secret Service agent in the body armor. Hotel security. Not targets at all, if at all possible, AKA unless they shoot at me. Oh, what a moral guy. Capitol Police, same as hotel security. National Guard, same as hotel security. Hotel employees, not targets at all. This is the point where I wish that we had Steven Seagal, and not the real Steven Seagal, the movie Steven Seagal, working as a chef in the hotel, throwing knives at him. That would be beautiful. And he comes in, and this guy like takes 17 knives, and then they ask him, "What's your background? What are you doing here?" And then Steven Seagal says in his Steven Seagal voice, "I'm the chef." Yeah, but the hotel employees aren't targets at all. In order to minimize casualties, I will also be using buckshot rather than slugs, less penetration through walls. So considerate of him. So considerate. I would still go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary, on the basis that most people chose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and traitor and are thus complicit. Well, wait a second. Hang on one damn minute here, all right? He has chosen to attend a speech by someone who he thinks is a pedophile, rapist, and traitor. Therefore, he is now equally complicit. He chose to be there, even if he was hiding in some room. But I really hope it doesn't come to that. Rebuttals to objections. Okay, now we're gonna get into like the bullshit is gonna get so deep that I hope you're wearing your cowboy boots. Objection number 1: as a Christian, you should turn the other cheek. Rebuttal: turning the other cheek is for when you yourself are oppressed. Oh, so he's now admitting he's not oppressed. He thinks he has blood on his hands because of what the current administration is doing. That's what he thinks. He's full of shit, but that's what he thinks. But now he's saying, oh, well, I'm not amongst the oppressed. I'm not the person raped in a detention camp. I'm not the fisherman executed without trial. I'm not a school kid blown up or a child starved or a teenage girl abused by the many criminals in this administration. JFC. Let's go over these one by one. Guess what he's talking about is the Jewish prisoners taken by Hamas back on October 7th, a couple of years ago, who were raped by terrorists. Maybe that's what he's talking about, because you know, the entire thing, according to them, is an open air prison, right? So it's kind of like a detention camp. I'm not the fisherman executed without trial. Okay, so that's a reference to the drug runners going out of Venezuela on the speedboats. Pro tip, dude, I know you're not a professional fisherman or even an amateur fisherman, but typically, and my uncle was a fisherman, when you have a fishing boat, if it's a small lake, you just row, you just get a rowboat, or you know, something like that. And if you are going out on a larger lake or a larger body of water or a river that might be moving, you might go ahead and have a single motor on your boat. If you have 4 motors in a row at the back of your boat because you want to go really fast, that's far faster than the fish are going to travel, and there's no point. So if you've got 4 boats, if you've got 4 motors in the back of your boat, that's not for fishing. I'm not a school kid blown up or a child starved. Okay, a school kid blown up. Probably a reference to the girls who were killed in Iran by that missile. It has not been completely determined whose missile that actually was, but there are some folks who've put it on relatively good authority that that particular school was located inside a military installation, which makes it a legitimate military target, and which makes the Iranian mullahs and the IRGC the same kinds of awful humans as the terrorist groups they funded, in that they are using children as human shields. And as far as children being starved, okay, the children that were supposedly being starved in Gaza, that was all bullshit. That was all bullshit, and if you do your homework on the recent information coming out, it has been well proven to be bullshit. Or a teenage girl abused by many criminals in this administration. What? No. no, no, and no. Turning the other cheek when someone else is oppressed is not Christian behavior. It is complicity in the oppressor's crimes. Okay. There's been a good bit of talk lately about the roles of men and women in society, in relationships. And women are nurturers, generally speaking. Men are protectors, generally speaking. This does not mean that men can't be nurturing. This does not mean that women cannot be protectors as well. In this particular case, it seems that what this gentleman has done is given himself a very twisted take on what his role as a protector should be. So this is very much male behavior on his part. I'll give him credit for that. But as far as who he's protecting and how he's going about protecting them, he's going on bad information, and his whole thing is misplaced. Unfortunately, terribly, terribly misplaced. Terribly misplaced. Option 2. This is not a convenient time for you to do this, you know. There are more convenient times. Rebuttal. I need whoever thinks this way to take a couple of minutes and realize that the world isn't about them. Yeah, and the world isn't about you either, homie. The world isn't about you, and you are not solely responsible for seeing if you can't make someone assume room temperature because you think that'll make the world a better place. That's not up to you. That's not your decision. Do you think that when I see someone raped or murdered or abused, I should walk on by because it would be inconvenient for people who aren't the victim? In your personal life, sir, if you are walking down the street and you happen to see a man abusing a woman, and you are able to step in to that situation and perhaps have somewhat to do with that woman not being abused anymore, stopping the abuse, then by all means, yes, step in. There is a massive, massive difference between that, which is the male's legitimate role as a protector. And by the way, you know why men have to really be conscious of the protector thing? It's because we as men know that not all men have pure intentions. Not all men are good through and through. Not all men spend their evenings polishing their halos. We know that there are a handful, a relatively small percentage, of bad men out there, and this is why the vast majority of good men need to be willing to step in. I don't know how much more I need to say about that. This was the best timing and chance of success I could come up with. Still didn't do very well, did you? Objection 3. You didn't get them all. Rebuttal. Gotta start somewhere. Well, your somewhere was hitting one Secret Service agent in the chest and then getting caught. Dummy. Objection 4. As a half-black, half-white person, you shouldn't be the one doing this. Who brought race into this? Nobody brought race into this until you offered objection 4. Yeah, I looked at the picture of you and I figured out that you were multi-ethnic. Big fucking deal. You're still a male Homo sapien. You're still a human male. You're a man. God. Rebuttal. I don't see anyone else picking up the slack. Oh, yes, it's all about you, isn't it? Nobody's going to save the world except you. You didn't wear a cape there, did you? Objection 5. Yield unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Rebuttal. The United States of America are, bad grammar, and this guy's got a master's degree. He should have done better than this. are ruled by the law, not by any one or several people. Exactly. You are not the one to decide who gets to be our president. We, the people, as a whole, decide through the system of government enshrined by the Constitution that we follow. Dummy. Insofar as representatives and judges do not follow the law, no one is required to yield them anything so unlawfully ordered. Oh, so I see. You're above and beyond the social contract, are you? Only you can save us from whatever this happens to be. I mean, look, there are more than a few judges that I would like to see impeached, and you don't see me running out and grabbing a rifle and seeing if I can take care of business myself. No, there is a system in place, and you have to be patient and work with the system, however lamentably defective it is. It is lamentably defective, without a doubt. It probably, actually, I'm not going to say probably. Probably no. It's ultimately it's beyond fixing. But that doesn't mean you have to tear it apart. If you know the system's lamentably defective, if you know it's beyond fixing, then go find a better system that is a nascent system that is something that you can build and be ready to build and have ready for people to turn to replace that system that is lamentably defective. That's a far better way to go. You know, use your energies in a positive way. This is what my wife and I do with our personal work, and it's an important part of our relationship. Maybe I'll talk about that more sometime. I would also like to extend my appreciation to a great many people, since I will not likely be able to talk with them again unless the Secret Service is astoundingly incompetent. No, the Secret Service actually was quite competent. They caught you without killing you, so that you can sit and rot in jail and think about the things you did. Starting with embarrassing you by having you shirtless and throwing one of those emergency silver blankets on the bottom part of your body. Congratulations. I would also like to, I'm sorry, I read that. Thank you to my family, both personal and church, for your love over these 31 years. Church? So now you're claiming religion? Which commandment was it about not murdering? Which Old Testament commandment was that? I know it was. There are 10 of them, and I'm sure it was one of those. Thank you to my friends for your companionship over many years. Thank you to my colleagues over many jobs for your positivity and professionalism. Thank you to my students for your enthusiasm and your love of learning. You know, you could have stayed at that job or gotten a different teaching job or moved on with your master's degree in computer science to do something to make the world a better place. Could have done that. Thank you to the many acquaintances I've met in person and online for short interactions and long-term relationships, for your perspectives and inspiration. Kind of wish that you'd shared your plans with someone who had their head screwed on straight so that maybe they could help you see the error of your ways. I'm sure you've got a couple of friends who are like, I wish he had come to me with this. I would have told him, don't do it. Thank you all for everything. Sincerely, Cole, Cold Force, Friendly Federal Assassin, Alan. P.S. Okay, now that all the sappy stuff is done, what the hell is the Secret Service doing? Sorry, gotta rant a bit more here and drop the formal tone. Like, I expected security cameras at every bend, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. You know what? Here's the problem, my dude. This ain't North Korea. This is the United States of America. And yes, we've got security, but we also have a social contract, and we expect people to behave reasonably for the most part. And yeah, we take reasonable and prudent measures to protect the president, especially after the previous 2 or more assassination attempts, and one that got him in the ear. But, yeah, okay. What I got, who knows, maybe they're pranking me, is nothing. No damn security, not in transport, not in the hotel, not in the event. Like, the one thing I immediately noticed walking into the hotel is the sense of arrogance. Are you sure you weren't looking in a mirror, sir? I walk in with multiple weapons, and not a single person there considers the possibility that I could be a threat. Were you open carrying those weapons? Were you carrying the weapons where you could see them, or was your rifle in a suitcase of some sort? The security at the event is all outside, focused on protesters and current arrivals, because apparently no one thought about what happens if someone checks in the day before. By the way, there is some speculation about this, because this was at the Hilton in Washington D.C. and the White House Correspondents' Dinner apparently was scheduled some time ago in order for everyone to put it on their calendars and be able to be there for it. And how is it that you got a room at the Hilton, Mr. Cold Force Cole Allen? Thomas Allen? How is it that you got a room at the Hilton? It is a question that people are asking. It is a question that I imagine Mr. Patel, who you didn't want on your list of people to make assume room temperature not by choice, is going to investigate. Like, this level of incompetence is insane, and I very sincerely hope it's corrected by the time this country actually gets competent leadership again. We have competent leadership right now. I realize that Trump is not everyone's cup of tea. I realize that he talks smack, and we're going to go back back down on this thing, and we're gonna hear him talking smack in just a minute. I love it. But we have competent, seriously, what was the last administration? AutoPen? Yeah, Trump is maybe a year, 2 years younger than Biden, but he's still sharp. Anyway. Like, if I was an Iranian agent instead of an American citizen, I could have brought a damn Medusa in here. I have no idea what a Medusa is, but I probably should actually look that up. We're going to look that up. I'm sorry. I need to know what a Medusa is. I'm sorry. We're gonna stop right here for a second. We're gonna put a pause on this, and I'm gonna ask Grok, what is deuce? Because a Medusa, actually, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like a dookie that is so massive that your mother would gasp. That's what it sounds like. All right, let's see. What is a Medusa? All right, some of you may be ahead of me already. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Oh, Medusa is the affectionate military nickname for the M2 Browning 50 caliber heavy machine gun. Officially, the Browning machine gun, caliber 50, blah, blah, blah. All right, I'm not giving anyone instructions on what they should have done under the circumstances that he was there. But it's the idea of using explosives instead of a gun is pretty obvious, and this guy's a dummy. Okay, back to where we have Medusa. And I'm not saying do that. Please do not kill anybody ever, unless you are in the United States military and you are defending our nation, or you are with your family and someone is going to kill you or a member of your family or someone you love. Then you have my permission to use reasonable force to protect yourself and your loved ones. Where was the Medusa? Ah, a Medusa in here. No one would have noticed shit. Actually insane. Oh, and if anyone is curious, as how Okay, so apparently he's got a grammar mistake again here. He's got a sentence structure mistake. Oh, and if anyone is curious as how doing something like this feels, about how doing something like this feels, it's awful. Again, nobody forced you to do this. You had agency. You had free will that you exercised. You made a choice. I want to throw up. Just throwing up would have been better than doing what you did. I want to cry for all the things I wanted to do and never will. You could have chosen to not be there, live a peaceful life, make a bucket list, and start checking things off. Legal things that are of benefit to other people and yourself. For all the people whose trust this betrays, yeah, you really should have thought of their feelings before you showed up there. I experience rage thinking about everything this administration has done. Intelligence you have. You got a master's degree in computer science. I'm assuming that required a bit of brain power. You've been tutoring people on the SAT. I'm assuming that requires a little bit of brain power. Common sense. The ability to put yourself in perspective seems to be somewhat lacking here. Can't really recommend it. Stay in school, kids. My dude, could have taken your own advice. If you're not recommending it, then why are you doing it? All right, so much for the manifesto. Moving on. Let's find. Yeah, there he is. There he is. Wow, there he is with the smirk. Uh-oh. We had a little refreshing going on here. So let's go ahead and that's Nick. I'm gonna find rapid response 47. Okay, it already started.
The so-called manifesto is a
hang on. There we go. Go back to the beginning. Let's double check our video quality. 720. Yay. All right, now. Let's see. I gotta watch my audio numbers here, my audio levels.
The so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this quote, "Administration officials, they are targets." And he also wrote this, "I am no longer willing to permit."
Yeah, so she's reading the manifesto to the president. As if this matters, all right? I mean, whether this guy had help or not, and frankly, being able to book a room at the Hilton the night before this event and then be able to hide out somewhere, being able to book a room the night before the event, that, I believe, was a security lapse. I mean, look, and this guy probably, floated through life without giving anyone any kind of hint that he was going to go do this. That's not the point here. The point here is that the hotel screwed up, and there's just no way around it. And the argument for the presidential ballroom is 1,000 times stronger today than it was 24 hours ago, or 30 hours ago.
A pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people.
Boom! You're horrible people, yes. And he goes on 60 Minutes and talks to this horrible person anyway because he wants to reach us, his constituents. Good for him. But I love it. It's just like, you're horrible people. He just like lays the smack down face to face. It's not like he's gonna be nice to her and then talk smack about her later. No, he's willing to talk smack right to her face. He's willing to tell her exactly what he feels about her. And that's an admirable quality. I mean, if you don't like someone, say so. I would be a little gentler and more loving than he is when it's just someone in your personal life or whatever. But this is a professional relationship kind of thing, and in 60 Minutes, he has a track record with him and with Kamala Harris, and they have been terrible. They've done terrible, terrible, terrible things. Things that violate journalistic ethics and standards. And so it's not inaccurate to say that they're terrible, terrible people. Maybe she's a loving wife, and maybe she's an amazing mom, and maybe she's very, very kind to her parents. Maybe her colleagues at CBS all love her to death. Not the point. What she's doing professionally is terrible, terrible, and that's what Trump's referring to here.
Horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Yeah, see, that was some bullshit right there. That was 100% bullshit, because she read the manifesto. She knows exactly what he said, and we went over this just now, and we read it in order, and I specifically went back and pointed out that Cole Thomas Allen, Cold, capital F Force, that asshole, was going to go top to bottom. And there's no question top would be the president, next up would be the vice president, and then on down the line. The administration officials, maybe the Speaker of the House. I have no idea who else he was going to go after. Okay, so when she says this, oh, you think they're referring to you? You think you're that important? Fuck you. Fuck you. Whoever this CBS talking is, fuck her. She knows exactly who he was referring to, in the manifesto, who Cole Allen, Cole Allen, yes. She knows exactly who he was referring to, and she is like, oh, you think you're all that? Fuck you.
Me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or...
Yeah, let's be clear about this, okay? The AutoPen administration, the people who managed that prior former vice president. That's how Steven Crowder refers to him. They well knew that there was nothing in the Epstein files that they could smear Trump with. And that's why for 4 years they sat on the Epstein files. That's why their Attorney General did nothing with it to speak of. That's why their FBI director did nothing with it to speak of. They sat on that stuff for 4 years because it didn't have what they wanted.
Other things. But I said to myself, I'll do this interview and they'll probably, I read the manifesto, he's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that, because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Bingo. Exactly. But she's going to come back and say something because she has no sense of shame.
I was never, excuse me.
Yo, these are the gunman's words. No, you're repeating them. And you chose to phrase your questions this way. You could have phrased your questions differently. You could have phrased your questions more respectfully. But you are not doing journalism. You are doing, what you're doing is fishing for gotcha moments. That's what you're doing. You're fishing for gotcha moments. You're fishing for something that will take 60 Minutes viral. You're not doing journalism. When you go home tonight, the next time you go home, look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm not a journalist. And that's the truth. I'm a TV personality who asks questions looking for gotcha moments because that's what my bosses want.
You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead. Let's finish the interview.
The other
Again, I'm going to reemphasize I am nonpartisan. I do not vote based on political party. I vote based on issues. And I look at the candidates in a race and I'm like, all right, how do they stack up on the issues that I care about? And are they on the same side of those issues as what I think would be in the best interests of my nation? And that's how I vote. But I gotta say, I voted for this. There's really not a lot more that I want to do about the whole assassination attempt thing right now. There's not that much more I'm interested in saying about this. I think I've covered most of it, but I did notice Obama here pops up right underneath Trump, and so I haven't seen this yet, so I'm just gonna read and react. And by the way, I wish I did a good Obama, but I don't. I know that everyone's doing, all the comedians are doing good Obamas now, but I just have not, I've not practiced it. So if I try, it's going to sound terrible. Although we do not yet have the details, excuse me, I need a cigarette, about the motives behind, I'm not even going to try. Although we don't yet have the details about the motives behind last night's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Hint, Mr. Former President. The people on your side of the aisle have been engaging in what you call, what they call on their side of the aisle, stochastic terrorism, i.e. talking smack about the other side to the point where maybe they're going to want to go shoot. They're going to go do terrible things. That's it right there. And I am a 1A advocate. So as far as I'm concerned, if you want to call Trump a rapist and a pedophile and whatever else, that's fine. Okay, you can call him all sorts of nasty names. I'm okay with that. You can say, I wish he got impeached and tossed out of office. That's okay to say. Wishing physical harm on him, not okay. And that's what folks on your side of the aisle, Mr. Former President, are doing, including Hassan Piker, who some politicians on your side of the aisle, someone who they've been embracing. And Hassan Piker deserves more attention for his hate, and I think that's something that a lot of people have gone into already. He's getting sunlight, and that's what cockroaches need, is sunlight. So, but, I'm still, talking my way into my 1,000 hours so I get better at this. And, maybe I'll pick on Hassan too. He's a big boy. He can take it. He was a big boy on that horse. See? Okay, back to Barack. Although no, I'm not going to do that. Although we don't yet have details about the motives behind last night's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, it's incumbent upon us all to reject the idea that violence has any place in our democracy. Yeah, why don't you start by telling the folks on your side of the aisle that? You just hung out with Zohran Mamdani, who was hanging out with Hassan Piker, and whose wife has encouraged violence. So, you're in a glass house, and why don't you look around and see who's in the house with you, man? It's also a sobering reminder of the courage and sacrifice that U.S. Secret Service agents show every day. Yeah, again, those are Secret Service agents that are subject to having their pay withheld by a partial shutdown that's gone on for coming up to almost 2.5 months now. I'm grateful to them and thankful that the agent who was shot is going to be okay. You know what? Look, you could talk smack about the Secret Service and they're still going to protect you, sir, because they're professionals. All right. I have really gone on long enough about these things, and there's really not much else I feel like harping about right now. I think I'm done for today. And so what I'm going to do is I want to say aloha to everybody, and I'm going to say aloha